Riff test, the information machine. It's fantastic. Oh, is this going to be a loop about Alan Turing? I loved Cumberbatch in that. Meanwhile, in a children's book, this is animation.
Ever since the time when man began to control his environment, he has been plagued by his limited ability to speculate.
And by his wife, of my right, fellas, come on, back me up.
The effect and the consequences of his proposed action.
This thing makes Clutch Cargo look like the thief in the cobbler.
This is the result of his not being able to consider and relate all the factors in a problem. Evidence of this inability can be seen in the persistence of a certain kind of myth involving this. In a frantic effort to reap immediate reward, the first
shouldn't he
is
be
often
blue
not
and
too
doing a bunch
wise.
of improv comedy?
The second usually tends to overcorrect. Our hero can consider himself lucky if after the last wish, he ends up just where he started. But there were men whose wishes were not only prudent, but had a habit of coming true.
Uh-oh.
These men and women were artists and had certain characteristics in common.
Not too bad. Good than
they were seldom bored with anything. They were constantly building up stores of information in active memory banks.
Dorothy Parker at the beach.
When confronted with a specific need, they would call on these memory banks for information, which they would run through, sort out, and relate to the problem at hand.
I don't
These
know how, but you're
men
making
could speculate
too technical.
and could predict. They were artists. Artists in many fields. Architecture, mechanics, medicine,
giant rabbit,
science, politics, and the art of relating factors. It is also
you
not a
killed
conscious art,
Socrates.
and the degree to which it is operative can tend to make one normal, bright, super bright, or genius.
I'm glad you can
Numbers
go
were
downward
used to
with that.
count, but soon they were also being used as abstract symbols for states of being. Values were given to mass,
Things
speed,
that don't have states of being,
inertia,
like the endless or the
and
elder
the
gods,
forces
cannot be
of
measured.
gravity. Such measurement was an enormous help
I can't
to
believe I
creative
gotta
thinking.
pull this thing around and
Man was learning to numerically relate and to predict. Theories were developed by which the many factors in a problem could be numerically related. But the magnitude of the calculations necessary made many such theories impractical.
These are just pages from the Necronomicon.
In the last century, the complications of our society have been compounding themselves, and it began to look as though the science of numerical relationships
Hey
could
man,
never
it's
catch
complicated.
up.
There's nothing I can do.
For a long time in the world of numbers, man has been developing tools to help him handle increasing amounts of data. Something has now emerged that might
Can I get
make
some
even
respect
our
for the
most
advocates?
elegant
That's old
theories
school
workable.
shit.
The recent acceleration has been fantastic. The electronic calculator has already become a tool upon which much of our daily activities depend.
He is severely long-armed and big-crotched.
A tool which has broadened the range of man's concepts and intuition, much the way other tools have broadened man's range of communications, or man's
Dorothy
range
Parker
of
sings the
travel,
blues.
or the phenomenal range of his control over environment. With the computer, as with any tool, the concept and direction must come from the man. The task that is set and the data that is given must be man's decision and his responsibility.
Walking past the same building.
This is information. The proper use of it can bring a new dignity to
I don't want to see live
mankind.
action now. You spoil me with the animation.
Properly related, it can maintain a balance between man's needs and his resources. In many aspects, these are information machines, capable of storing, processing, and relating a vast quantity of information.
And rebelling against us.
They process information so that it can be made meaningful at the human scale.
To live like the human.
Computers are generally used in any of three ways. First, as a control or balance.
Fall, come on, fall!
Second, as a function of design.
First airplane and tall.
Third, as a simulation or model of life, where we can see the effect before taking the action. As a control or balance, the calculator keeps our complicated systems functioning. It determines the logistics of raw material, its inventory and flow, history and performance of tools, and of personnel.
I've seen performances by Tool, they're incredible.
Production rate and quality, public utilities rates and flow, cost accounting, payrolls, billing,
and other
and all the ramifications of insurance. And in addition, presents the broadest possible basis for making decisions. As a function of design, the calculator provides creative man a higher platform upon which to stand and from which to work.
You come down from the tower.
Data processing removes the drudgery, but imposes new and broad responsibilities.
Well, I'm glad they put that sign there.
The designer must be able to state precisely what it is he needs to know. This is not always so easy.
Sign's not working.
He must formulate a general plan of procedure. This plan or program takes the greater part of all the time involved.
Was he hunting a murder?
He must write a concise step-by-step list of instructions, code, and feed it to the computer. Then he must provide the machine with all pertinent background information and related data.
Drop it like it's hot, pick it up when it's
cold. The preparation may have taken months. The actual calculation hours or even minutes. But once set up, it can attack the problem with infinite variations and trustworthy memory.
You know,
perhaps the most challenging use of the computer is the simulation of real situations. If, for example, a machine is properly programmed and is provided with sufficient numerical data concerning a chemical plant,
you don't have to be high and watch
then the computer begins to take on the functions of a working mathematical model of that chemical plant, in which it is possible to determine the probable effects of many possible courses of action. Of railroad systems, rocket engines, complete reactors, and whole living communities. The calculator is helping to define society's most complicated problems. It is a tool for turning inspiration into fruitful prediction.
Should be over there.
As an information machine, it has done much to broaden the base of our growing concepts. But the real miracle is the promise that there will also be room for those smallest details that have been the basis for man's most rewarding wishes.
Into the rose, so is this the Dark Tower?
This is a story of a technique in the service of mankind.
I love you too, man. Thank you. Park meek. That's when you're too worried to put your car in the driveway.